How does it feel like to be such an accomplished individual, especially a woman in the tech space?
Yeah, in those moments, I realized that following in his footsteps was my purpose and my mission, and carrying on that legacy of what he stood for. And I also found out that he had, in fact, made other plans for his firm. And so at that point, that's when I decided, you know what, I just have to take this into my own hands. I'm going to start my own law firm in Silicon Valley. I didn't really have a plan B, so I've had to stick with it, and not for the faint of heart. I do meet a lot of amazing women in tech, and super happy to support anybody who's starting on their entrepreneurial journey. Maybe this sounds cliched, but listen to your heart, start with the end in mind. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello everyone, welcome to BetterTech. So today I have with me Sophie. Hey Sophie, how are you?
Hi Hasib, I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to join you today.
Thank you very much for making the time. So Sophie, before we really get a deeper dive into the topic today, can you briefly tell me a bit more about yourself?
Yes, I'm happy to. So my name is Sophie Alcorn. I am the founder and CEO of Alcorn Immigration Law. We are a Silicon Valley business immigration law firm supporting tech founders, tech startups, technology professionals, venture capital folks to get the right legal permission to live and work in the United States. So we offer visas and green cards, and I'm a certified specialist in immigration and nationality law by the State Bar of California Board of Legal Specialization, and started my firm 10 years ago out of my kitchen in Silicon Valley.
That's great. So how has the journey been so far?
Oh my gosh, it's been quite a journey. I didn't know what it took to be an entrepreneur and a founder until I got into it. And it's been extremely rewarding. And also, there have been many challenges and opportunities that I've had to, figure out with my team how to overcome throughout the years. I believe that the world should be a place where every child that's born can grow up and have the opportunity to self-actualize and, live in safety and security and have the opportunity to learn and grow and do their best and work in their flow state on something they believe in that matters. And so I'm really passionate about solving immigration. And as you may have heard, it's a, politically touchy area, and there are lots of changes all the time. So it definitely keeps us on our toes, always trying to figure out the best ways and strategies to help empower people to live their dreams.
So you are somewhat related to tech because you help tech founders and everything. So I would say that you are in the tech sector. So how does it feel like to be such an accomplished individual, especially a woman in the tech space?
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, I would say I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a single mom. So I've not chosen an easy route in my life with having my responsibilities to my children and my family, and growing a business. And I think that might be part of a little factor in the successes we've had so far, actually, because when you have a plan B, that is your plan A. And I didn't really have a plan B, so I've had to stick with it. And it's not for the faint of heart. I do meet a lot of amazing women in tech, and I'm super happy to support anybody who's starting on their entrepreneurial journey. We all have factors in our lives that can make it more challenging for us, or that we have to figure out. Yeah. So I feel very blessed and honored to be where I'm at today, and grateful for all of life's ups and downs and the things on the path that led me to be here today.
Sure. So tell a bit more about the journey for Alcorn so far. What inspired you to get started, with this company or your own venture for the first place, and how it had been since then?
Thank you. Well, my dad was an immigration lawyer and my mom was his client from Germany. So I grew up with immigration in every aspect of my life as a child in Southern California. And I have really fond memories of going with my dad on Take Your Daughter to Work Day, and he would bring me to US, or it was the INS back then, or immigration court. And on Saturdays, I got to help him in his office and push the numbers on fax machines. And he would just give me a sugar cube because that was the only food in his office when I had helped him. So I developed an affinity for immigration at a
Mhm.
very young age. And he was always inviting, brilliant engineers, scientists, entrepreneurs, artists to our home for dinner. And so I got exposed to the entire world. And it just seemed natural to me that that's what life should be like for everybody. Um, I I got my start working with him as a young attorney, but quickly burned out because it is an extremely demanding practice, and that's just being an immigration lawyer. Running an immigration business is another layer. So I ended up having kids and moved with their dad to the Bay Area. And I was thinking about what I wanted to do with my life and my career and what would be meaningful and have purpose and that could make a difference in the world. And I knew I thought I wanted to be a founder, and I considered going to coding boot camp. But given that I had little kids, it wasn't in the cards to spend 60 to 80 hours a week learning how to code. I thought I needed to create the next social network or something. And then as that was all happening, I had also been telling my dad, Dad, look, being a mom to young kids is completely overwhelming. If something happens to you, I'm in Northern California, you're in Southern California. I wouldn't want anything to happen to your clients and your firm. And maybe in case something happens, you need to make a plan besides
Mhm.
me to ensure that everybody's taken care of. I didn't know that he listened to me. And then he passed away very unexpectedly in an accident. And
Mhm.
I
I'm
found the
sorry.
inner courage. Thank you so much. Yeah, in those moments, I realized that following in his footsteps was my purpose and my
Mhm.
mission, and carrying on that legacy of what he stood for. Um, and I also found out that he had in fact made other plans for his firm. And so at that point, that's when I decided, I just have to take this into my own hands. I'm going to start my own law firm in Silicon Valley. We're going to use technology. We're going to help more people than ever. And I'm going to figure it out one way or another how to turn this into a really successful business model at scale, where clients get the caring, compassionate service that they need. And so
Mhm.
that was the journey I embarked on. We're coming up on our 10-year
That's
anniversary in a few
yeah,
months.
that's quite a journey, as you were saying. So,
Thank you.
and what's your long-term vision, and how do you see like technology and immigration blending together in the future?
Oh, thank you. I would, if we're looking at really long-term vision, I think that as we become a multiplanetary species, all humans should have the freedom of mobility to go between Earth and Mars and the moon and orbiting Venus and wherever we're going to go. And I want that to happen, free and clear and easy, and that we have a healthy planet, and that we're also able to travel the cosmos. And so I believe we need an immigration system for the world and humanity that enables that. So that's the North Star. On the way, I think there's things like solving U.S. immigration, creating a global creator passport so founders can go anywhere in the world where they need to. So that's the long-term vision. But to get there, we're going to first focus on U.S. immigration for tech startups
Mm-hmm.
and founders and try to
Sure.
make that as easy and seamless and, with the most peace of mind as possible in the practice.
So, since you touched upon it, I mean, what do you see are some of the biggest challenges that skilled immigrants currently face in the U.S.? and
Oh,
how
yeah.
how companies can overcome them?
Yeah. Well, it can feel to many people like the entire system is stacked against them and like there's no chance. So, what I really want people to know and companies to know is that it is possible to take matters into your own hands and find uh, existing legal pathways and
Mm-hmm.
setting yourselves up for compliance and success. And this adds some extra layers of what, for example, like a startup founder would naturally do. They can't just if you're working in a Mag 7 company and you get an amazing idea for the next AI whatever company, if you're an American, you can just quit your job, live off your savings for 6 months to a year, brainstorm, get a lot of distance from your job, and then put together the right team and investors, and then launch when you're ready and raise money when you're ready. And if you're an immigrant, you don't necessarily have all of those luxuries, but you can still be on this path. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, we help many people with O1A visas for extraordinary ability. We can now transfer H1Bs to people's startups, even if they're the 100% owner. You can work at your own company on an H1B, and that's great layoff insurance. And it's also a way to become a founder. We can help people self-petition their green cards. We can help companies secure H-1Bs without the lottery for their employees if they're willing to give back to universities and research. So there's a lot of really novel and creative strategies we can use that are just like triple win situations for the company, the person, and the country. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I just want people to know there are pathways. And it really starts with having a clear vision or goal of what you want to achieve. And then from there,
Sure.
we can pretty much reverse engineer anything.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, since you have done so much, I would say so many immigrant cases. So, how do you see that these immigrants help boosting the U.S. economy, innovation?
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
particularly in the tech sector, if we say.
So much, Hasib. I'm over 50% of, the top companies have at least, one third to two thirds of immigrants as their founders. So many of the big tech companies have immigrant CEOs as their leaders. So many inventions, discoveries, new technologies have immigrants who created them. I think the Transformer paper with Google that started this generative AI revolution, that was created by a predominantly immigrant researcher team. Various vaccines. My clients are creating like Iron Man flying suits and cancer drug discovery tools and easing how we do work and creating universal access to education. So I think that immigrants are really at the forefront of so many things. And if you just look at it as a system, we're so fortunate in the United States that we have an amazing economy, that the laws and governance are predictable for companies to be able to do business, without corruption. There is a massive market here of consumers, and we speak one language and have predominantly one culture. So it's just an amazing place to do business for so many reasons. And
Mm-hmm.
that really attracts the world's best and brightest people to come here and make a name for themselves and chart their own paths. And so we have this unusual concentration of talent in our country. And then also the people who have braved the journey have so much resilience, grit, courage, determination. So often the startup is the easy thing after they've gotten the green card.
So, how you have seen the immigration policies in general, like evolving for
They're changing
attracting
rapidly.
and retaining talent?
Yeah, they're changing rapidly. So um, in terms of high skilled immigration, uh, what we really need is a startup visa. That would help so much. There have been many attempts. I had the honor to be part of drafting one startup visa bill that got passed through Congress in the America Competes Act, but was left out of the Chips and Science Act. So this has been a priority for 10 to 15 years, but due to the stalemate when it comes to immigration policy, it just hasn't happened yet. Right now, with this administration, the priority is on extremely strict enforcement, ensuring that all laws are followed, removing people that have not followed the laws, and it puts an extreme amount of stress on even the most law-abiding, perfect, model individual who's navigated the system, which is unfortunate. We do see changes happening. For example, I was just reading right before we were recording this that the TN classifications have changed overnight. And that's particularly impactful for Canadian software engineers, where all those categories kind of got rewritten in a much stricter way. So more of those individuals from Canada and Mexico are going to need to look at H-1Bs instead of TNs. So there are changes. We've also seen more volatility in the adjudications this year, a higher RFE rate. So those are some of the trends, but on the whole, we're still winning I don't know, over 98% of our cases. It might just be a longer, more winding road to get there, but it's absolutely still possible.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with, immigration cases taking all the time and process and everything, do you think inclusion of AI into this overall mix of immigration is going to help, visa processing, case management, compliance with the immigration law, as well as, expedited times and other things? Or do you think that it's too early, or do you think that there is not a use case of AI in the immigration space?
Oh, I think that law is going to eventually be transformed by AI. There's for example, a company named Harvey's in the news a lot. They've raised a lot of money. That's in the corporate space. I think
Is that from Harvey's, from Suits or
I
something?
think it's named after that. Yeah. So I like that show. I think lawyers are figuring out how to adopt the tools that are in the market and how they can be most useful. And at the end of the day, I think with law and perhaps other professions with licenses like medicine, I think it's probably still going to be very important to have human in the loop systems with certified professionals. But I think it's over time going to help power us to be our best and help more people.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the key concerns or key risks, I would say, that you think exist with the usage of AI in the immigration decisions? So, do you think that AI is going to be impactful there, or
I think that there
probably
are
will be?
trends for increased usage of AI, and there are challenges to be aware of. Of course, keeping our clients' information private is of utmost importance to the legal profession.
Yeah.
We're bound by duties of confidentiality and attorney-client privilege. And the thing that most lawyers are the most scared of is if we put clients, we cannot put clients' personal identifying information into public AI systems because we
Yep.
can't let it train on our clients' data. So that's something that we're all, very, very conscious about. How do we navigate that responsibility? And then the other thing is just the hallucinations. There's crazy stories about like a court admonishing an attorney for made up citations because the lawyer just trusted whatever they
Yeah.
used. I don't know, Chat GPT or something, and they invented all these fake cases. And the judge, the clerk did the research and caught it that it was all pretend, and
Mhm.
the attorney faced sanctions. So that's the human in the loop aspect that we have to be so cautious about as well.
So, I mean, before we close, what sort of message would you like to give to people who are looking to maybe immigrate to the US, or they're looking for immigration options, or they are just exploring? I mean, in general, what would you say?
Thank you so much. Well, there's a lot of resources out there to help people. For example, I'm the author of a book that's available on Amazon and Audible called Ask Sophie: The Founder's Guide to Immigration, and that is a whole. It's like a choose your own adventure book that I built with flowcharts and strategies. So that's a resource. I have a podcast as well, the Sophie Alcorn podcast, which is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I've done many episodes explaining the different immigration options and talking to founders and other folks in the really the international ecosystem of Silicon Valley to help
Mm-hmm.
people get familiar with how it works here. But so there's many resources. I would say, and maybe this sounds cliched, but listen to your heart. Start with the end in mind. Where there's a will, there's a way. And don't get too hung up on which visa pathway and how. There are experts who can help you figure that out. But the main thing is to know that, if you are listening to this or watching this in a, yesterday I interviewed somebody who's going to be on my podcast I got him his green card, and they're going to announce that he got tier 1 VC funding for his startup. And he was sharing how he grew up in a tiny village. His mom still can't watch Netflix because there's no high-speed internet there. But he got a book about Silicon Valley, and he knew that he wanted to be a founder and live here one day and change the world. And he found his way. It was not an easy or straightforward path, but he figured it out. And there are mentors and resources all around to learn from that can help
Mm-hmm.
make the way easier for you. So whether you're starting your own company, whether you want to expand your career and get a better job, whether you're a company and you really want to hire the right person, there are many ways to do it. And so that is the thing to focus on.
Amazing. So, Sophie, thank you very much for um, making the time and really sharing the insights with our audience. I truly love the conversation, and maybe we can have a follow-up conversation with a more in-depth analysis of various visa types or immigration routes and everything to help our audience get acquainted with the options they have at hand, and then take the leap forward.
Thank you, Hasib. I would love that. Really appreciate it. Great chatting
Thank you
with
so
you
much
today.
again, and you have a nice day, and we will speak soon again.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.